Neurons. A new generation of robots designed for bot stores. Completely in a worldwide championship. Grow your team. Find the best strategies. Invest in new technologies. Trade neurons. Gather supporters. Gain experience, credits, boosters that will make you even stronger.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Neuronball Game Day, bringing you coverage live from the Neuronball Premier League. I'm your host, Smooth Darkness, and today we have semi-final action coming your way. Just a little recap: after the round of 8, we had some pretty good teams moving on to the semifinals, and then we have some teams that got knocked out, of course, and they're going to be getting ready for the next season. And of course, like I said, another recap: we have 5 teams that are going to be joining the league coming up in the next season. So, without further ado, we're going to get into our semifinal action, and here we go. Our semifinals. We have the Chicago Direwolves taking on the Psycho Penguins. And then we also have the Cvltqs taking on the Magisters. Just a reminder of the format. It is best of 5, and along with that, if there are any ties during any part of the series, then we go into total goals for the entire series to determine the winner to move on to the next round. All right, and here we go. We got the game starting. Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather, but it looks like both teams are starting off very furious here. Direwolves trying to get the lead quickly, and then they go. They got the first lead of the game, going with the first goal. Good shot there by the Psycho Penguins to try to take it back, but good defense by the Direwolves. Cvltqs and Magisters fighting hard as the game is still tied at 0-0. A little bit of technical difficulty there with the Chicago Direwolves and the Psycho Penguins, but the game is still running smoothly. Chicago Direwolves trying to get possession of the ball from out of that corner, and it looks like we've already got a tie game. And then the Psycho Penguins come back and take the lead for the first time in the game, now 2-1. Magisters and Cvltqs are still tied at 0. Oh, it almost looked like they were going to change that. And the Cvltqs do. They get the first lead of the game at 1-0. Let's see if they hold on to this lead. Chicago Direwolves tied the game up. It is now 2-2. Make that 3-2 as they take the lead back from the Psycho Penguins. And they come back with another score, now 4-2. Cvltqs still holding on to that 1-0 lead as of right now. Chicago Direwolves holding strong, especially after that first series against the Crimson Lions. Although they just gave up a goal just now, Chicago Direwolves looking to improve from that first series after losing the first game of the series against the Crimson Lions as the eighth seed to then have to come back and win the next two. They're looking to more or less dominate the rest of these playoffs to become the inaugural champions. Manchester seem to have made a comeback. It is now 2-1 against the Cvltqs. Well, all four teams fighting hard to try to get those leads as high as possible and win those games. Now the Chicago Direwolves are leading by two again, 5-3. Magisters still keeping their lead so far, 2-1. Cvltqs on the attack, trying to get another goal here, tie the game up. Good defense by the Cvltqs, trying to clear the ball away. Good clear there. Psycho Penguins struggling against the Dire Wolves and their strong offense, and there they go. Dire Wolves get another goal. It is now 7-3. You can almost guarantee that the Dire Wolves are going to win game one. And there goes another goal by the Chicago Dire Wolves. Cvltqs doing their best offensively to prevent another goal, but Magisters take advantage of the goalie being knocked out of the zone, and they score another one, bringing their lead to 2. Direwolves continuing to dominate here, leading by 5 goals at this point. It is now 9-4. Psycho Penguins good goal there to bring the lead down to 4. But I don't think there's enough time to mount the comeback as Chicago Dire will score once again to bring that goal back. Now it's 10-5. Magisters with another goal, bringing their lead up to 3. And with time winding down, Chicago Direwolves are going to take game one. And the Magisters are also going to take game one. Direwolves taking it in spectacular and dominating fashion. Magisters struggling at the beginning, but take the game one win. So as a recap, we had the Chicago Direwolves going up one game, and then the Magisters as well going up one game in their series. And now we're going to move on into game two after a brief break. All right, and welcome back to game two of the NPL Championship semifinals. Chicago Direwolves versus the Psycho Penguins, and then the Cvltqs taking on the Magisters. Both games starting high, and it looks like the Cvltqs are having an issue with one of their neurons here. Let's hope that doesn't mess up their chances at potentially moving on to the next round. They tie up the game, so it's now 1-1. Chicago Direwolves and Psycho Penguins still scoreless at this point. But both teams doing their best to try to get the first goal of the game. Chicago Direwolves fighting hard on defense to prevent a goal here. Good block there. Good clear. And the Chicago Direwolves take first blood, scoring the first goal of the game and taking the first lead. Magister is currently leading their game against the Cvltqs 2-1. And there goes that one neuron having issues once again. Again, hopefully it doesn't cause any issues for the Cvltqs' chances. And it looks like it's not, as the Cvltqs are on the attack. And they score again, tying up the game. And they continue to go on the attack, and there they go, scoring another one. So it is now 3-2. Cvltqs leading. Cvltqs doing their best on this attack, trying to add as many goals as they can, especially with one of their neurons having technical issues here. They need to do their best to score as many goals as possible, so that way they have a chance to keep the series interesting. Psycho Penguins currently leading against the Chicago Direwolves 2-1. Looks like it's going to be another back and forth game here for the Direwolves and the Penguins. Good defense there, good block against another goal. Cvltqs trying to hold on to this 1 point lead. And so are the Psycho Penguins. Psycho Penguins trying to stay on the attack as much as possible, but Chicago Direwolves now on the offensive. Good score there by the Chicago Direwolves, tying up the game. Cvltqs holding on to a 2 point lead, but now it's back down to one. Psycho Penguins holding on to a 1 point lead against the Chicago Direwolves. And it looks like we got a tied game between Cvltqs and the Magisters, and now they take the lead back. And we have a tie game between the Chicago Direwolves and the Psycho Penguins at 3-3. Another tie game here between the Cvltqs and Magisters. Seems that Neuron is not messing up their chances too much, but they still have a little bit of time to go to try to get the last few goals that they need to tie up this series. And there they go, the Magisters taking another goal here and taking the lead for the first time in this game. Psycho Penguins still holding on to this 1 point lead against the Chicago Direwolves. Chicago Direwolves are trying to fight back and at least tie up the game. It could give themselves a chance on the attack. And then there goes the Direwolves tying the game up with another goal. Cvltqs and Magisters going back and forth. Magisters taking another goal here to take the lead by one. There's now a 3-on-4 offensive from the Cvltqs, still trying to keep their chances alive. Now on defense, good clear of the ball by the Cvltqs, but with time running out, Magisters win 7-6, and the Chicago Direwolves and Psycho Penguins tie their game 5-5. So back onto the recap. Chicago Direwolves stay one game up with 15 goals and 10 goals from the Psycho Penguins, and Magisters take a 2-game lead in their series. Alrighty, and that's gonna do it for game two. Now we move on to game three between Chicago Direwolves and Psycho Penguins and Magisters and the Cvltqs. Games have started. Cvltqs on the offensive trying to get the first lead of the game. Chicago Direwolves also on the offensive. Ball in the corner, cleared. Magisters take the first lead of the game, 1-0. Psycho Penguins and the Chicago Direwolves fighting hard. Psycho Penguins really trying to get the first goal of the game, try to get their first lead. And there they go, Psycho Penguins with the first goal of the game. Magisters with another score. Chicago Direwolves scoring to tie the game up 1-1. Psycho Penguins on the attack and stuck in that corner. Good defense by the Direwolves to prevent another score there. Ooh, and off the corner is the Chicago Direwolves still on the attack. And there they go, scoring another goal, taking the lead in this game. Cvltqs down by 1, now down by 2 as the Magisters score another. Psycho Penguins with a good clear onto the Chicago Direwolves side, more in the center, but able to move it through, and there goes a game-tying goal. So now the game is tied 2-2 against the Chicago Direwolves and the Psycho Penguins. And we also have a tied game between the Cvltqs and the Magisters. Cvltqs doing their best, and I guess they made some adjustments to that one neuron that was giving them issues in the last game. Even though they didn't lose too badly in that game too, still probably messed up their chances just a tiny bit. Magisters take the lead here by 1, and they're going to take the lead by 2 with another goal. Chicago Direwolves currently in the lead by 1 as well. Good defense there, preventing a goal. But it looks like the Psycho Penguins are going to get a little aggressive, try to get into that corner and fight through, but it is blocked. Good clear, and it looks like that's another goal for the Psycho Penguins, tying the game up 4-4. Magisters leading 5-3 against the Cvltqs. Good clear by the Magisters going into the Cvltqs side. Now fighting to try to get that ball closer to the goal. Psycho Penguins also fighting, trying to get that ball away from their side. And now they're moving on to the attack. Good attack by the Psycho Penguins, taking the lead there 5-4 against the Chicago Direwolves. Chicago Direwolves in position, and they tie the game up once again. Good clear by the Psycho Penguins. Ball now in the corner, gets cleared a little bit by the Direwolves, but the Psycho Penguins are still keeping it in the zone to give themselves a chance for another score here. Good block by the Psycho Penguins there as the game is tied. Psycho Penguins on the attack, trying to give themselves a much better angle to try to score against this goalie of the Chicago Direwolves. Good blocks there, but the Psycho Penguins score again, bringing their lead back up to 1. Cvltqs down by 1 with time running down. They still have a chance to try to tie the game up at least. Oh, that's a little bit wide of a shot for the Magisters. It's a good thing too, because then it gives the Cvltqs a chance to still try to get one or two last minute goals. See if they can win a game to keep their season alive. Psycho Penguins now up by 2. And there you have it. And game 3 has ended for all 4 teams. Psycho Penguins taking the win here, now bringing the series 1-1 with 20 goals for the Direwolves and then 17 for the Psycho Penguins. And then the Magisters win the series 3-0, so they move on to the finals of the Neuronball Premier League Championships. It's the first ever for the Premier League as a semifinal is now going to be going the distance. We are now in game four, Psycho Penguins versus the Chicago Direwolves. The game starts with the Direwolves and Psycho Penguins fighting in the center, trying to gain advantage over the ball. And remember, folks, if there are any ties during the series, like for example, with game two, when the Chicago Direwolves and the Psycho Penguins tied 5-5. Once there is a tie, and that point we go based off of goal totals for the entire series. So as of right now, that's why you see the graphic where the Chicago Direwolves and Psycho Penguins are 1-1 in the series. But with that one game being a tie, we also are keeping track of goal totals. So that's why you see Chicago Direwolves with 20 goals and the Psycho Penguins with 17 goals. Meaning, as of right now, if this game would end with the Chicago Direwolves with more goals, then technically the Chicago Direwolves will win and move on. But again, this is best. This is best of five, so Psycho Penguins still have a chance to also move on as long as they get more goals than the Chicago Direwolves. And right now, Chicago Direwolves leading by one in this game, going hard on the offensive, trying to bring their lead even further. Here we go, good angle, but just a little wide of the goal here. And there goes another goal for the Chicago Direwolves, extending their lead by two. Good blocks there by the Direwolves to keep the ball out of the goal, giving themselves another shot at extending their lead against the Psycho Penguins. And there goes another goal for them. So now the lead is up to three. Direwolves taking advantage of the Psycho Penguins and their um, semi-shoddy defense as they score another goal from a very, very tight angle. And here we go. The Psycho Penguins going to try to make a comeback here, scoring a goal. They're only down by three, and they still have some time left. But they got to get a little bit more aggressive if they want to do so. Chicago Direwolves pushing hard against the defense of the Psycho Penguins. Psycho Penguins now taking advantage, moving the ball closer to the goal, trying to move the goalie out of place, but the goalie recovers. Psycho Penguins leave one to try to move the goalie out of the way as the Direwolves move on to the attack. We got another chance for the Direwolves, but it's been put into the corner and cleared a little bit. Ooh, just a little wide on that shot. Had a very good chance to give the Direwolves another goal, and there goes an on goal for the Psycho Penguins, extending the lead of the Chicago Direwolves by four. Psycho Penguins now on the attack, but a good clear by the Direwolves goalie to put it back towards the center. So now the Psycho Penguins have to fight harder to try to get it as close to the goal as possible and give themselves the best chance. But there they go, they're scoring another one. It is now 7-4. Less than a minute left in the game. The Penguins still have a decent chance to try and at least tie the game up. If they do tie this game up, it does give them a little bit more of a chance to take the series and upset the Chicago Direwolves, who are the number one seed. A little under 20 seconds left to go. Direwolves with a good clear there. Good defense by the Direwolves again. Psycho Penguins trying to clear the ball as best as they can. and get it to the other side, but it's not going to be enough as the Chicago Direwolves are going to take game 4 with a score of 7-4. And there you have it. The game 4 has now ended. So now we move on to our recap. Chicago Direwolves leading the series 2-1 with 27 goals against the Psycho Penguins 21 goals. And with that, we're gonna move on into the final game of the semifinal series between the Chicago Direwolves and the Psycho Penguins. Both teams are set and ready to go. And here we go. Psycho Penguins clearing the ball over to the Chicago Direwolves side, going on the offensive. It looks like they're going to try to get a little bit more aggressive than they did in the last game. Goalie's a little out of position for the Chicago Direwolves, and there they go. Psycho Penguins taking the first lead of the game. Direwolves trying to take that goal back as they try to meet fire with fire. Good block there by the Psycho Penguins. Clearing the ball over to the Direwolves side. Now going on the offensive here. It's a good angle, but good block by the Chicago Direwolves to prevent another goal. Psycho Penguins now on the attack, 4 neurons to 2, and they complete the goal, now taking the lead by 2. Psycho Penguins with a nice little strategy change here, trying to get a little bit more aggressive against the Direwolves, who have been pretty dominant over the past couple of game series. Good blocks there by the Chicago Direwolves, clearing into the Psycho Penguins side. Good shot there, but a little wide. Good clear by the Psycho Penguins. Now being able to take advantage of that long clear to try to fight against the Direwolves for another goal. Good block. Good clear as it goes straight through the middle. Psycho Penguins on the offense, but ball gets cleared and to their side. Chicago Direwolves trying to take advantage of that clear and give themselves a chance for a goal to at least knock this deficit down. Good corner clear by the Psycho Penguins and good clear overall by them. Their defense has been pretty strong in this game. Chicago Direwolves struggling to get a goal here. Good chances there, but just a little wide. Now it's going to be a 4-bot battle to try to get that goal. Good clear by the Psycho Penguins, keeping their lead, their 2-point lead, with some strong defense and some strong offense to try to give themselves a little bit of an advantage. Good clear. Good block by the Chicago Direwolves there. Clear, almost complete, but still on their side. Now the ball's cleared, giving them a chance, and there they go. Chicago Direwolves get a goal to knock that deficit down to 1. And now the game is now tied. Chicago Direwolves fighting back against the Psycho Penguins, trying to keep their season alive, hoping with a game win here, they'll move on. But statistically, even with them losing one game here, well, another game here against the Psycho Penguins, it's going to depend on the goal total. So, if the Psycho Penguins, for some reason, have a goal total that's higher than the Chicago Direwolves, then they will move on. But if the Chicago Direwolves are able to hold on a goal total, they will move on to the finals against the Magisters. Psycho Penguins with another goal here, bringing their lead back up to 1. Good shot to clear by the Psycho Penguins into the corner, but Chicago Direwolves staying on top of it. Psycho Penguins clearing to the other side, giving themselves a chance. A good block there by the Chicago Direwolves. Chicago Direwolves with another block to prevent another goal. Direwolves staying on top, trying to give themselves another chance to score, and there it goes, tying up the game 4-4. But the Psycho Penguins come back, take that goal back, so now the lead is back up to 1 for the Psycho Penguins. Good block there by the Direwolves. Good clear. Psycho Penguins continuing to show their good defense, and that is going to be the game. Psycho Penguins win the game 5-4 against the Chicago Direwolves. And now for our final game recap of the semifinals. Chicago Direwolves and Psycho Penguins tied the series 2-2, but Chicago Direwolves have a goal total of 31 over 27 for the Psycho Penguins. So the Chicago Direwolves will move on to the finals. And that's going to do it, folks, for the semifinals of the Neuronball Premier League Championships. Stay tuned, as next week we are going to have our final matchup, which will be best of 7. And it's going to be an exciting time as we have the Chicago Direwolves taking on the Magisters. Again, tune in next week. Hope to see you guys there.